I'm Suyan. I'm from Commute Initiatives. We're based in Kuala Lumpur, and we work to transform streets to make them safer and more sustainable and equitable for everyone.
I am Dinna Louise C. Dayao. I am the writer and public and media relations coordinator of the Move as One coalition. The coalition advocates for safe and sustainable public transportation as well as walkable and bikeable cities. I am also an independent road safety journalist.
Hi, my name is Kathleen Dematera Contreras, and I'm representing Urban Electric Mobility Initiative, and we are working on Jeff-funded e-mobility project in the Philippines. But I have a long history of me walking in this part of the world and in many parts of Asia. So
I feel like, that word is so loaded because transport is supposed to serve everyone. And the fact that we're talking about it from a feminist lens means that it currently doesn't serve everyone, that it currently probably serves only a section of people. And so I think that's already a jarring problem, right? Like our streets everyone should be able to move through them safely and should feel comfortable, whether you're a woman, you're a child, you're someone with disability. And I think people just move around the city in such different ways. And so just to be able to think about how everyone experiences the street and the city and where we need to get to is a really big part of that. Yeah.
For me, feminist transport would mean seeing more women drivers, women cyclists, women pedestrians, women bus drivers, women traffic enforcers, because they would have greater insight into how to make cities safer for women, so that women of all ages and abilities can freely move safely in cities without worry that they will get mugged, harassed, or that they will stumble and fall because the infrastructure is so bad. So for me, feminist transport would have a feminine face. Transportation, infrastructure, walkways, bike lanes would be designed for women of all ages in all stages of their lives, from children, from girl children, to women with their children in carriages, to grandmothers walking, cycling, and riding public transportation in comfort, security, and dignity.
feminist transport, to me, is about creating transport systems that prioritize safety, equity, and accessibility that prioritize the needs of women. So you're thinking about the marginalized sectors, marginalized groups, but also women. And I come from I'm a mom, so I have a different perspective now of what it means to me as a woman, because now I go to a public transport mode and public transport terminals, and I think about is it stroller friendly? Are there public transports that are child friendly, baby friendly? So I think about all these different needs if I want to travel around with my kids. So that is a feminist transport system to me. And even in the decision-making process, like, are those lived experiences heard? Are they translated into policy and also in the infrastructure and in the design? So that is the whole point of the feminist transport, is considering all of that safety and with dignity also.
It's so hard to explain to a man that I don't want to walk down that street. After, sometimes after a late night and you're walking back, and my friends who are male would just walk down the street without thinking twice, and I'm kind of left behind being like, I don't know, like maybe I'll call a taxi instead. And I think so it's all of these really small things that add up. And also as a woman working in the kind of transport and sustainability sector, a lot of the times if you're in this industry, most of the people in the room are men. And it's crazy that these people are making decisions that affect everyone. And I think, so that's kind of like on the top-down level, but on a bottom-up level, the people who are actually making this change happen, most of them are men too. In the construction industry, the people that we work with on the ground, they're mostly men. Our bus drivers, we're seeing more women, but they're mostly men as well. And so it's challenging to get everyone, whether people from the top or people from the bottom, to see things from a different perspective. So I think representation is so important. We need more diverse voices in the room. And I think another way to do that is probably in just bringing in ordinary people, would your mom feel safe walking down the street? Would my grandma feel safe walking down the street? Or would your child feel safe, right? And I think starting to think from these lenses can help shift the conversation. Yeah.
I would tell my younger self that you will find a place to make a contribution in transport. You will find a way to contribute your knowledge, your attention, and your dedication in the area of road safety, in the area of sustainable mobility. And you will find allies, people to work with, because it is a long, hard road. And it will take many, many, many hands and minds and hearts working together to transform our cities and our streets.
One of the women who inspired me to be here is, I'd say, my mom, because she has shared stories of her roaming the streets. She's curious, but she also needs to be somewhere. Yeah, so she has tried different modes of transportation. She's ridden the jeepney. She's also walked the streets, and I have this first-hand understanding from her stories of the challenges and also the inequities in the public transport and in the transport systems in general, especially for women. And in one of her last attempts to ride a jeepney, she found herself breaking her arm, and that was a little more than a decade ago. And so that moment stuck with me. That story stuck with me, and I realized that there's so much more to be done. So it's not just going for the bare minimum. It's making sure that they're safe and they're accessible, they're affordable also for women and for those who have different needs while taking these public transport modes.